Well, what could be the biggest prepper mistake that we could ever make? What could it be? So many times we hear all the prepper channels talk about all these things like, well, do this, do that, get this or get that. But what could really be the biggest prepping mistake, honestly, that we could ever make anytime, anywhere? Anybody know? Anybody? Just thought I'd ask. Maybe y'all don't know. I think that too many times we actually prepare for things and we don't prepare for everything and we don't prepare for certain things. We just keep looking at the same thing over and over and over again. And I'm sure many of you have done this. Like, we get stuck on food. We focus on one aspect and one aspect only. And when we focus on that one aspect, we're missing a lot. We're missing a lot. And hey, RR, Fisherman, Carol, Tamara, Mountain Grandma, nice to see you. SBLL, nice to see you. I think that so many times that Truthful Troll, how are you? And who else we got in here? Dragonflies, of course. Sandra, hello, Sandra. I think that it's really important that we think about this topic. And RR, you did name one of them. Hey, Elaine, you did name one of them. But I think one of the biggest things, especially right now in 2024, right? In 2024, one of the biggest things is sharing our supply information with everyone or letting someone know that we have this or we got this and I know we're super excited. Maybe you've been saving up for that special Alexa Pure or Berkey or maybe a solar generator or something like that. I think that we're at the point, right, that we have to quit letting people know about everything we got, quit letting people know about the things that we have, period. That is one of the huge ones. RR did bring up the another one that I'm going to talk about, but procrastination. Like the list of things of procrastination. You start out, you're like, oh well, I got to do this and I got to do that, and I got to get this because so and so prepper told me that we got to get this, right? Each person has different situations and different circumstances. We live out here in the forest. We need to concentrate more on water while Mountain Grandma probably has a well and she has maybe a larger family and she needs to concentrate more on food. Each and every one of us, our prepping journey is different. And so it's really, really important that we stay focused, but we also get out there and say, okay, if this scenario happens, can we make it through? This situation here on the homestead with us, with the water, has been huge, but it was a great, great learning experience. I will tell you this, I learned so much in the last 2 months, not only about water prepping, but about water purification, about how testing the water, how to actually know if it's good drinkable water, and all these things are going to come into play. I see that the chat's already blowing up with news. I'm really not here to talk about news today. I mean, sometimes we talk about news so much. I do have a news broadcast tomorrow night. Hello. Hello, Baltica Moosey. Hello, Sonia HK. But I do want to mention one thing because we were talking about it, and this is news related. Before I finish on this list, one thing I want to bring up is there is a alert out. I have not been able to confirm the alert. It is coming in from the FBI that extremists are going to the border and that extremists are going to be causing chaos at the border, and along with that, that they are going to do facial recognition of people that are at the border. So I believe that this could be an FF event. And also on top of that, if any of you are deciding to go there, and I know a few of you thought about it, I would say I would avoid it at all cost. Yesterday, and I did two different live streams, one on OTWP Report and one over here. If you've noticed, both those live streams are gone. Um, there's a good reason for that. I found out some things from other sources and looking into the caravan, and there's some dark, dark stuff that I can't even mention on YouTube, and that's why I took down both live streams. because those live streams, if you put them up and they're up there and in 4 or 5 or 6 weeks, they start going through these live streams, it could come back to bite you in your ass. SBLL, stay away from San Ysidro, please, brother. I'm asking you from my heart. Stay. Thank you. Thank you for the gifted memberships. Stay the frick away from the caravan, the convoy. Um, you know, there's some really nasty, nasty things coming out about it regarding pedos. Okay, regarding the FBI, the three-letter agencies, and please, if you're thinking about going and you're close to it, I'm a patriotic person. You all know that, but I would say stay the hell away. I'm just saying, and I know that a lot of times, yeah, yes, yes, exactly. Well, and I'm just telling you information that I look into and find. And exactly, Elaine, nothing is what it seems. Um, Another channel, one of our channel members reached out to me and said that she thinks that this is going to be, and she has legitimate reasons for telling me this, but she told me that she feels that they are going to do kind of a surround situation, kind of what happened on my birthday on January 6th, where it looks one way, and then when they arrive at a certain location, it's going to totally change. There's also a ministry church group, supposedly ministry church group, that's going there to say that we should let every illegal across the border and they're going to confront the convoy. I think that this could blow up into a huge, huge thing, right? Yes, yes. There's too much coming in. So I do want to talk about the main topic though, is what is that big mistake that could really cost us? And it kind of goes twofold, right? Focusing on one aspect and not being well rounded. You know, I think many times that we look around and we go, okay, my situation is I need this, this, and this. It's not really about what you need. It's about the skills that we learn. I would say probably 70% of people in the chat right now are lacking in first aid and lacking in self-protection. And those are two things that are huge. How many of you feel like you're either lacking in first aid, medical knowledge, or that you're lacking in self-protection? Please hit a one. Yeah. Yes, I will. I will definitely talk more about it. You can also go to, if one of my mods would drop the reboot playlist. I have talked in depth about water, about places you can find it, Truthful Troll. Um, Hit a one if you feel like you're lacking in first aid or self protection. I think a lot of times when we talk about self protection, everybody gets all like, yeah, we got to have 2A, 2A, 2A. A lot of those things come down to this. It comes down to having layers of protection around your property, actually protecting your home. But what if you get caught out and you're not at home? Then how are you going to protect yourself? I will tell you this about me and dragonflies because I'm not afraid of what could happen by telling some of my preps. We carry fixed blade knives in our vehicle. We carry other things in our vehicle. And along with that, we have pepper spray. We have things hooked to our keychain to protect ourselves. And the big thing that my brother taught me, I've talked about him before. My baby brother is a third-degree black belt. He's very, very smart. When you learn a martial art, you never go in to fight, right? You don't learn a martial art to go fight people. You learn a martial art to defend yourself. You learn a martial art because it is very graceful, because of the belts and all that. My brother is actually a third degree black belt in Taekwondo. He has trained with an Olympic gold medalist in New York City. He's very, very in tune. And I'll tell you what, he took COVID and he turned it around. My brother was very overweight. My mother actually was worried that he was going to have a heart attack because he was so big. And so he turned COVID around. He is down to less than 200 pounds now. He works out, he runs every single day. He restarted up his Taekwondo school in Denver, and he is teaching young children how to protect themselves. And the whole reason my brother ever got involved with Taekwondo is because he lived in Fort Worth for a short time, and that there was kids picking on him nonstop because he was little and he was a bookworm and he was smart, and they were picking on him nonstop and started beating him up. And he came home and told my mom, and gee, I got to do something because this is getting terrible, right? And so G said, if you're going to start something, make sure you finish it. Well, my brother is a third degree black belt, and he did finish it, and he's still actively working in Taekwondo to teach. He loves teaching women and elders how to defend themselves. Remember that anything around you can become a tool for your survival, how to protect yourself. And the thing is a lot of times, we always have the old, hey, uniquely written, we have the old joke about grabbing the frying pan and hitting your husband upside the head. Well, just imagine if that's the only thing around. I did a special on Off the Wall Prepper about 2.5, 3 years ago when I first started, and it was about prepping on the cheap. It was about taking things around you and utilizing them to make preps, have preps. And many people don't look at things like, if you pick up a writing utensil, is that a prep? Well, yeah, it probably could be. Is a hoe or a rake or a shovel a prep? You bet your ass it is. And the thing is that things around us, if we really utilize them and recycle them and repurpose them, and then start thinking about them as a prep, it changes the whole aspect of that tool. I have an old hatchet. That hatchet handle broke, right? But it's a great hatchet. Well, I'm a tightwad. What did I do? Good old duct tape and duct tape that bad boy up. I think that one of the big things, and RR, you did bring it up, is really the thing is like when we are doing things and we're prepping, sometimes we forget about the knowledge of the items that we need to have. And the other thing is not having the adequate supplies, not practicing your plan, not actually having the plan and practicing the plan. Yeah, a skillet could slow down a bullet. That's about it, Patriot No Jab. Nice to see you. All these things around us, though, can become preps. And I don't think that prepping is about buying stuff. I think prepping is truly about utilizing the things around you, working within your budget, getting out of the matrix financially where you don't have to stress all the time. And we've had our share of stress lately, ever since I bought that dang car. I wish I wouldn't have bought that car. Honestly, my old Jeep kept on trucking down the road, and this car has been nothing but a new electronic mess. And I think that over time, we're going to see more and more of these things happen. We do have a lot of threats coming in. Right now, we have a lot of threats coming in from China that they are going to either infiltrate our election, they are going to take down our infrastructure in many aspects, and on top of it, right, that they may actually be going into chats like we have right now and saying things to stir people up, or going on social media with their own accounts and with their own channels to stir the pot. So I want you to say that we are definitely in a information age where it could be very dangerous for the information that you take in. So you want to make sure that you're really kind of doing your own due diligence when somebody tells you any article. That's why I don't do news every day, day in and day out, because the things that they're saying, there's so much more in depth about it when you really look around. Truthful Troll, you asked me about water. I think that the thing that I've realized about water, for one, is 1 gallon of water is not going to cut it. I've told you this for the last 2 years. But the other big thing, and SBLL, thank you very much for the gifted memberships. Thank you, sir. The other thing is that water. The rainwater, a lot of people have said, well, is the rainwater safe to drink? I have done TST tests on it. Thank you, Brandy F, for mentioning the TST tester. Pretty inexpensive gadget to test water. But the other thing I noticed about the water is that if you set up the water next to a purified bottle of water, you can actually see by like taking the two bottles and putting one next to the other, right? Because you can actually see like if it's pretty clean, if it's filthy, if it's not, and that back screen's irritating me today for some reason. But so I think that, when you take the 2 jugs of water and you set them by each other, truthful troll, you can actually see how clean one is compared to the other. The other thing is always remember you can make yourself a really easy, very easy purifier. A lot of people can't afford 3, 4, $500, right, to go buy a Berkey or to go buy an Alexa Pure. We did buy one because I really wanted it because we are on a cistern. But one thing I want to say is that you can take the water and set up a liter bottle. And if you go into the reboot, you'll see me doing it out in the forest. And it's the layers that actually clean the water, Truthful Troll. The layers actually clean the water. So this is the interesting part. So you're going to start with your rocks or the ones that will collect the big stuff at the bottom. Your fine will be at the top. So that would be like moss, leaves, grass, anything that can do the fine breakdown. And so you're going to layer that. And each of us live in different environments too. Some people have sand. Sand is a really good filtration for water as well. So you just want to layer it in that bottle. You could use a 5-gallon bucket if you needed to do a large amount of water as well. But I've learned so much about water living out here in this cabin that it really comes into play. And I think it's really important that water's life. Without water, we're really in a disastrous mess. So as you layer the your layers, we have moss here. So I had moss at the top. I had some brushy kind of grass. The next layer down, I had sand, and then I had the rocks. So I had like a 4 or 5 layer filtration system that I actually made that I showed out in the forest. And as you pour it in, you can actually see the water as it goes through. And when it gets down to the rocks, that's where it does like a heavy part of the filtration. But the thing is, Truthful Troll, how clean is the rainwater out here? It's really clean. It's very, very clean. If you leave it setting in an IBC or a cistern too long, you'll actually get a funky smell. I think it could be part from the polyurethane, part from algae, part from the sun. So the one that we had frozen on us, the IBC that we had frozen on us, we actually have that wrapped in black, heavy duty commercial black wrap. And that black wrap, right, actually keeps the sun from getting to it. And obviously it worked because I have an ice block still about yay big in there. So we still have about 100 gallons of water that we're not able to access because of all that big ice block. And I mean, it's as big as the IBC. The rainwater is tasty. Not only is the rainwater tasty, and we are running it through the filter or boiling it. Okay, I will say that. But the other thing is, I noticed when I put it in a solar shower during the experiment, we have running water now, folks. Okay, but we need to go get more. We need to go get like 2,000 gallons of water, which we're going to go get this next week. Um, when you're running it through the solar shower, the rainwater actually feels really good on your skin. I think that the water systems that we have, they're like in California, they're changing it by 2050. People will be using poo to water to drink. That is the most disgusting thought ever in my head. Is yes, and that's true. That is true. Hi, Mimi. Hello, hello, everybody. Yeah, a dehumidifier does make water. The other thing is there is, I'll have to find the off grid. There's an actual off grid way that you can make your own dehumidifier to make your own water too. But I'll tell you what, water is really, really important. I think that not practicing your plant, yeah, oh, Mount Grandma, you don't want poo to water? Oh, come on. Well, it's not, the UV rays will sanitize the water. The sun is not good for anything in plastic. It's not plastic, it's polyurethane, and it's inside of a building, and it'll have some leaching effects, not the polyurethane. But if it was like a small plastic bottle, yes, it definitely would leach into what you're drinking. Most definitely are. But they also, if you've ever kept an aquarium, here's a good point. If you've ever kept an aquarium, they sell a UV light. You can actually get one of those UV lights, drop it down in your cistern or drop it down in your Berkey or your 5 gallon buckets or whatever. And the water, as it runs over it, what you would do is take off one 5 gallon bucket, another 5 gallon bucket, pour your water in, have your UV light in the top one. And as the water passes across the UV light and goes into the second one, your water will be sanitized. The thing is with that is then you're losing a lot of your vitamins and your minerals. So you definitely want to have trace elements to put back into your water because we need some of that. We don't need all of that crap, that's for sure, right? Yeah, yeah, disgusting. Yeah, they're working on it, SBLL. You're going to be drinking poo water before you know it. Um, Also, another great thing that you can do is if you've ever kept an aquarium as well, is that there is a lot of meds and OTC meds and meds that fish need that humans could use. I'm not in any way, shape, or form a medical expert, but from a doctor, he was doing a special on it, and he was talking about all the different medications and how you can use the medications from the fish and from like keeping ponds to actually help with your water source if your water source is contaminated. I think also the big thing that we talked about before, Truthful Troll, is finding water in those unusual places because I see that water is a concern to you. Finding water in unusual places. Where would you start? Your water heater is going to have, if the power goes off, if it, say for example, the CCP does hack our systems and take us down, right? You are going to be like most people that just go turn on the faucet don't really think about where's that water coming from and how am I going to get more. So I think that one big thing that I can say to you is the back of your toilet. It might sound disgusting, but this might be the time to make sure the back of your toilet is clean and free of grime and grit. And then you can actually use that water. You can also use the water. Your water heater will store so much water, and even if the power shut off, there's still going to be water in there. The other thing is underneath your house, in any building or going to or from any building that has a water source, down in those pipes, there's water. I'm talking desperation and really to the point that you are like, we are in big trouble. Himalayan salt has a good source of minerals as a supplement. Yes, and we have Himalayan salt. Also, Himalayan salt lamps are very will really, if you're having a bad time emotionally or if something's really bothering you, if you have a Himalayan salt lamp, I really truly believe in them. You turn them on and it seems like this peacefulness comes over you. And I think that has a lot to do with herbs and natural ways as well, right? I have been wanting to do The Lost Ways, but I'm having a problem getting my other book. We downloaded it somewhere. I'm not going to pay $50 again to do a special. And so my book is lost in the Matrix somewhere. I'm hoping that I'll find it soon. But honestly, folks, I just deleted 25,000 emails and I have 10,000 emails again today. So it's a little crazy. But you know what? In a SHTF Truthful Troll, the landlord's probably going to have his hands full. I'm not saying to do something to vandalize anybody's property, but think about the things that you do have to do. Vinegar and baking soda will clean a toilet tank. Vinegar and baking soda will also clean out a toilet line. And it works very well. You will actually see it foam up. SBLL. We did it at the cabin, and we also did it on the RV. We also have a septic tank cleaner that's just a blue powder, and it says to put a whole envelope in it. But because we've been doing it so long, we did it on the RV. We do it here in the cabin. Is we use about a quarter of that. Small bag. I don't even know what it's called. Maybe Dragonflies would be nice enough to go get it so I could show it. But I think that we have to make the plans because otherwise the biggest mistakes that we're going to make as preppers is getting stuck on stupid. Well, I got to get food this week. I got to go on a prepper haul. I got to buy, I got to buy. No, no. Excuse me. The septic tank cleaner. the one that's in the bottom drawer. Don't get stuck on stupid be at the point that every single week you feel like you have to run out and buy something. I think it's more important is to take some of that money that you're feeling like, well, maybe I should go buy some shit, and instead of buying some shit, pay off a bill, pay down a bill, put a little bit of silver away. This is the one that we currently use, and this is VAC Plus septic tank treatment. And so I think this is the one that this one I think is the packets and not the loose. Yeah, this one's just the packets. So you're supposed to treat it with a couple of them, but we just treat it with one, and we just toss that in there. It does help the system. It helps, and it's safe for septic systems. It's safe for lagoons, and that one's called VAC Plus. We're tightwads, but I also want something that's effective, right? But I think that don't get caught always saying, "Well, so and so on this channel told me I got to buy this." If you're feeling like you have to buy everything, you have the aspect of prepping all wrong, you know? And there's so much to know when you're living like a prepping lifestyle, a true prepping lifestyle, is that when we're in an emergency situation, you're going to want to equip yourself with as much knowledge as you can beforehand by reading books, even enjoying yourself and watching prepper movie. Me and Dragonflies for the last 2 months, at least once a week, we are watching a prepper movie, and it's enjoyable. We make us some popcorn, we enjoy the evening together, and we watch a movie, and then we talk about the movie afterwards and what would we have done in that situation, or what do we think we would have done. I think a lot of times too is so many people, we get wrapped up in, well, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And when the shit really hits the fan, right? When it really happens, if you have not practiced that plan, you are going to have a blank, and the plan's going to go out the window. And you're not going to really know where to start because you're going to be frantic and just tripped out. Oh gosh, we've been watching a lot of them. Dragonflies, I'll have to tell you, I have a memory that's not too great some days, and this is one of those days. I've had some major stress right now, and so my PTSD has been kicking my ass a little bit, and that's why I wasn't on live yesterday or this morning. And then I decided, you know what cheers me up more than seeing all you good people, Truthful Troll. One of them was really interesting because it was about a lady that Noah, the Wolverines. There's a lot of good ones out there. There's a brand new one of Red Dawn. I don't know, or not brand new, but Red Dawn is probably one of my all-time favorites. Armageddon is another good one. Yeah, I needed to, Mimi, because sometimes when my PTSD acts up, I just don't want anything to do with anybody. And last night I had to come out and give Dragonflies a big hug because I was being a real a-hole. She's used to me after 11 years and going on 12 years, but it's she doesn't need to get the brunt of that, and sometimes it happens. We talked about the information one. I think procrastination can kick our ass. Focusing on one aspect and not looking around at other scenarios can definitely be another one that we should all take into consideration. I had some other notes here that I wanted to bring up that I think that this one is pretty important. Let me see here. Hold on, let me find my. There's some crazy crimes going on too right now, folks. There was a horrific, horrific crime in London. A mother and her little daughter were out, and an attacker attacked them. And this is horrific. The attacker actually threw acid on them, and the mother and the child's okay, and the child was a little girl. And man, what is happening with the violence is pretty crazy. You're used to it, but you shouldn't be. I think the biggest thing is that we can talk about these mistakes, but I think the most important thing is to figure out a way to avoid them. And when it comes to even the crime I just talked about, how do you avoid crimes like that? One, always keep people at an arm's distance or further away from you. If you go into a restaurant or a store, always make sure that you're aware of your surroundings and that you're not walking around I know many of us are YouTubers and we have channels, but it's probably an important thing right now to not be in the screen recording in public unless you have someone with you that can kind of be like your watchdog, that extra set of eyes. There's supposed to be a new one on Netflix. Oh yeah, we already watched it. It is actually well, and there's a new one coming out in April, Mountain Grandma. That one was Leave the World Behind or something like that. That was okay. The other new one that's coming out is Civil War, and that one really bothers me. It's coming out in April. It's about the National Guard. It's about the 25 states that right now are currently aligned with Texas. And I'm like, is this like some kind of programming exercise? Like, are we like getting programmed into like, this is what's going to happen in April or May? It's funny to me. I think that prepping is such a broad subject that sometimes we get stuck on the top three, and people usually say it's food, protection, and fire. I say it's air, water, and skills, right? Air, water, and skills, because all the shit you buy and all the things you have, even your food supply, is going to dwindle, right? Um, you got a 20. Yeah. Yep, and I agree. And to know where your second exit is. I do. I do. I think a lot of it is. I think a lot of it is programming. And when we really talk about prepping, it's real easy. Many of us are have been in homesteading or prepping or the prepping lifestyle or a first responder, military, whatever, for a while. But I bet you when new preppers are listening into these channels, they're probably thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm like so behind and I'm so lost and I'm so scared." And I think that, I want to say to the new prepper, don't be confused. Don't get shaken to the core. Prepping is a way of life. And many people jumped on the bandwagon about prepping in 2019 and 2020. Myself and Dragonflies, it's pretty much I was brought up in that environment, being brought up in the Midwest. Dragonflies was brought up in it because of her mother, because her mother often spoke about the three letter. And I can't say that. I can't say, if I say this now, they are putting a thing on my videos. And I'm like, and I don't really know why. I mean, other channels talk about it, people say it, but I don't know if they're trying to get us to go to Wikipedia to find out what them. I don't really know, folks. Um, I want to say that prepping is a very individualized endeavor for each and every single one of us. And a lot of how you prep has to do with the disasters that you think that you may be facing. I think one of the biggest disasters that we're facing right now is this right here and this right here. Um, I think that those are two of the biggest ones, and this one. I think if we lose our medical sovereignty in the United States or we lose our sovereignty in the United States, these are going to be a huge thing that's going to affect each one of us. And it's funny to me how they keep shifting our view from one place to another place when really we need to just stay centered and focused on our own individual prepping, right? You started prepping when you lived in the Bronx. Wow, Jessica, I bet you did. I think that it's very, very important. I don't know what that one means. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Yes. Yeah, that's what I said. I did say that, and, you know, hoot hoot. You know? I mean, honestly, folks, it's getting to the point, that if we don't realize what's happening right now, if we don't realize what's happening, is this country's never going back to the way it was. This country, when the fiat dollar fails, we are going to really see people's animal instinct kick in, right? And when that happens, we are all going to be in a load of trouble. We're seeing food escalate in prices. We're seeing utility bills escalate in prices as the fiat dollar falls. The other thing is is they keep talking about how wonderful Biden economics is for all of us, right? But yet, so many people that I've talked to personally and seen in the chats are losing their jobs 15, 20 years. Another friend of mine, 15 years at the same company, they got a notice on Monday, and this tomorrow, they closing down the company and they're not reopening. So, this is happening in every sector across the country. And I think that also with what's coming in through the Darien Gap is going to play big time into what happens here in the United States. I think there's going to be little pockets of disruption until the little pockets become large disruptions. And those large disruptions, okay, I know we're talking about a lot of things here today because it really is some of the biggest prepping mistakes is that we got to realize what's coming in through the Darien Gap and what is the major big plan. And I will tell you from research from what I've been reading about the Darien Gap is the Chinese are making big huge moves. They are getting ready to come in and conquer their asset. And I'm talking about the United States of America. And when they come in, it's not going to be pretty. And if you know anything about the Chinese way of life, it's not pretty. It's not nice. It's not what I want to live, and it's not how I want to finish living my life here the rest of my days. It's not what I want my nieces and my nephews to go through. What's happening has been put in plan for a long time, for over 2 decades, when that Chinese professor came out with that report talking about that someday they would stretch the United States so thin that the United States would snap like a rubber band because we would not be able to handle all the different wars and crimes and things that are happening. As these sectors start popping off and we see more and more of them, yes, they do. Yes, they do. That's a fact, Elaine. They do. And I think that, we can set it on a prepping channel and talk about all kinds of things, but I think personal safety and safety in numbers of Americans is going to protect us the biggest. And I think having a mag that you can say that that if you call them and all shit's breaking loose, that that you will have not just two, not just four, but a whole group of people. The Darien Gap, it's between South America and the United States, and it's where they're pushing all these people through Mountain Grandma. Mountain Grandma, what they're doing is it's a very dangerous trail and they're leading all these people, all these illegal migrants up through the Darien Gap. It's dangerous from the animals to the cartel to the crimes that are being happened. This is how bad it is. They're actually giving women that are going through the Darien Gap condoms because they know that they're going to be raped. That's how bad it is. That's, and there's organizations actually handing out condoms because they said that they know that the women will probably be raped. So if you're raped, at least you would have a condom to protect yourself. That's how bad it is. The things that are going on right now are unbelievable in 2024. I think the further we get in to the year, it's going to be, yeah, I know. I know, Mountain Grandma. I'm just telling you facts. Um, it is a very, very dangerous place. And the other thing, and yeah, and it's mountain trails, it's jungle, it's animals, it's cartel, it's gangs of people, there's camps set up, there's people tromping through there. And the thing is, folks, is this is all being done on purpose. See, you got to look at Europe and take into consideration about Europe. Everything that's happening in Europe, they kind of lead the way, and then it's going to happen in the United States, which is sucky. But the other thing is we can see it. Yeah, the children trafficking is sickening. RR, that might RR. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. RR did that one. That's funny. I'm sorry. You got a few things that'll keep on giving. Yeah. They're making lots of money on the mountains. Yeah, and there's a bridge being built there. And that bridge is being built very precisely, very quickly, and it's going to be the leading way into the United States. There'll actually be a bridge right through the Darien Gap. There's so many things going on right now that are coming out that's it's unbelievable. I think that any grandparents out there, I found a Sig Store, a water point set, the kid one. I didn't see what it said. I, oh, Dollar General. I was like Segan store. What's a Segan store? Thanks, Tam. The kid use only water, and when they dry it, it can be used over and over again. Super cool. Yeah, they are. I think one other thing I want to bring up, while I have y'all here, right? Yeah, 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 yeah. It's that bad. It is that bad. I think that really the truth of the matter is that none of us actually know what tomorrow has in store for us, right? Because we definitely can't trust, in my opinion, we can't trust the media. We definitely can't trust the people up on the hill. We definitely the media and the things that come out on a day to day basis are unbelievable. But I do know this, that there's been many people around the world that have been hit by natural disasters, by wars, by crimes against the people, and the same thing can be said for just about all the victim of almost any disaster that's ever occurred, right? And the truth is we really don't usually have much notice, if any, for any type of disaster. And that's why right now, as preppers, we need to accept the fact that much of what we do and much of what we're going to do may not even get used by us, but it may get used by our grandkids or our nieces or nephews. And that if there's a major catastrophe in this country, especially if it comes to nuclear, there won't be a warning for us folks. There's not going to be some loud siren or the president of the United States coming on and saying, take cover, take shelter. It's going to happen in a blink of an eye. And the thing is with that in mind, some of the biggest mistakes that we can make is to stop prepping. Some of the biggest mistakes that we can make is think that we're all prepped up for every scenario and every situation. Because when it really boils down to it, none of us know that maybe a horrific weather catastrophe will happen, or maybe a nuclear, or maybe there'll be boots on the ground or drones in the sky. But I think that the big thing is if we focus only on one scenario, we're screwing ourselves and our family and our kids out of the opportunity to be prepared for more, to be prepared in many more angles and situations and scenarios. And I think that, there's if we don't create a plan and if we don't talk to our kids and say you are at work or your husband's at work and the kids are at home alone and you can't get to them, then what? What are they going to do if as mom or dad or grandma or grandpa or aunt and uncle or just a friend hasn't sat down to talk to them? Those kids are going to be terrified. They'll probably run out in the midst of the bullshit and get hurt. And it's our responsibility to really be there for our kids and to hopefully have a plan that will save them or rescue them or keep them in hiding until it is safe. And I think that we have to create a plan because failure to plan is planning to fail. And I want to leave you with that thought. Failure to plan is planning to fail. I hope that each and every one of you has a good day. I hope that I brought up some things that you really will think about over this weekend. And I hope that most and foremost is that you don't let things knock you off kilter. Don't let your faith be shaken and keep on prepping and keep on walking in faith, light, love, and hope. Walk in faith and not fear. as our motto is always said here at the OTWP, because that's the most important thing we can hold on to because they're trying to shake our faith too. This is OTWP. Big, huge prepper hugs to each and every one of you. God bless you from here in the Ozarks to wherever you're at. Of course, we're going to do it the OTWP way, and we'll take it out with a song. Thank you for being here. Thank you to all my members, all the super chats, and for all your support. Please smash the thumbs up. Yeah, my friend Linda, she used to run through the campground or saying that proper preparation prevents poor performance. She added some other pissy word in there too. Huh? Yeah, piss poor. That's right. That's right. Big hugs to all of you. We have a live stream Sunday night at OTWP Report. I want to thank everybody for sharing out that channel and for subscribing to that channel. It is really growing, and I really appreciate it because I've worked hard on all the layouts and stuff. Monday night, we have a OTWP auction, our second auction here on this channel. Lots and lots of goodies, and some of them, I'll just say this, there's a nice green ammo box and there's some other really cool stuff. So you don't want to miss it. There's everything from survival and prepping to clothes and new items, vintage items. There's all kinds of stuff. If you check the channel OTWP Report, or if somebody would drop that link, I would appreciate it. Our shows, Truthful Troll, and anybody that's listening at OTWP Report are at either 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. unless it's a red alert or a serious emergency. I will not overuse that word. I only will say that if I feel it's something I need to bring to the channel immediately and get your attention to watch it. That's the only time I'm going to use that. So I just want to say, don't stop believing. Don't stop believing no matter what. And I want to thank each one of you, like honestly. And by saying don't stop believing, that's kind of like my new song on this channel is Don't Stop Believing. I'll never forget when I seen them in concert many, many years ago. And this group really does the dang thing. I love the version. Dragonflies thinks it sounds like Pentatonics. I just think it's badass. So I hope you enjoy this. God bless you from here in the Ozarks. Make it count, y'all. Keep on doing the dang thing. Until I see you again, my friends, tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Central Time, over at OTWP Report.
Just a small town girl living in a lonely world. She took the midnight train going anywhere. Just a city boy, born and raised in South Detroit. He took the midnight train going anywhere. Strangers waiting. Up and down the boulevard, their shadows searching through the night. Whoa, street light, people, they're mystifying emotion hiding somewhere in the night. Don't stop believing. Into that feeling. Street light, people. A singer in a smoky room, the smell of wine and cheap perfume. For a smile they can share the night. It goes on and on and on and on. Whoa, strangers waiting. Up and down the boulevard, their shadows searching through the night. Whoa, street light, people, heart, hold on to your heart. Oh, Sherry, heart of love to your heart. Hold on to your heart. So now I come to you with broken heart. So now I come thanks to you. Hold on to your heart. Don't stop believing. Hold on that feeling. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Street life people. Don't stop